Hi there. Welcome to Behind the Reality podcast, coming to you live from UrbanPop Radio. I am Israel Okedoi, and I'm your host for today. Our conversation today is on the matter of politics and governance, as it concerns the betterment of the country and the improvement of life and welfare in Nigeria today. If you are a young person, if you are a youth, please pull your chair. This conversation is for you. I'm not alone on the show today. I'm with a man whose trajectory is deeply rooted in community development and youth empowerment. An alumnus of the University of Ilorin, is a man who has served as a one-time special assistant on youth empowerment to the governor of Kwara State, Malam Abdurrahman Abdurazak. Is a man who is deeply involved in philanthropic activities as well. Through his Gadaff Future Care Foundation, he has driven a strong advocacy for education, paid the school fees of countless children. Let me not talk too much. Let me welcome my guest, Honorable Suleiman Lekan Gadaff. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So can we meet you?
Yeah, you've already made a numerous introduction, a perfect and beautiful introduction. Even if if I have to introduce myself, I shouldn't be doing more than that. But my name is Lekan Gadaff. I'm from Asa local government. I'm a community builder, a regional ECOWAS youth ambassador. I'm the Seydu Shabab of Ilorin Emirates. And I'm a capacity builder. So that's
a capacity builder. Let's start from the aspect of capacity building as it contains youth involvement in the political system today. Would you describe the average Nigerian youth as one with sufficient capacity for leadership, for change?
Yeah, first of all, let me take it from the youth aspect. Throughout the world, there's no nation that is exclusively built by the youth alone. It is always the experience of the old and the strength of the younger people. So we should take that and know that, and we shouldn't try to put aside the experience of the elders. And second thing, I know Nigerian youth, or most especially Kwara youth, are more resilient and we are very intelligent comparing what we are doing throughout the world. So with that, I believe in us and I believe in our strengths. We have the required skills and energy to drive the country forward.
I asked that question because whenever we bring up a conversation around youth and politics, the bulk of the actions or reactions we get from a certain group in the community that you call the elders, who I'm not in any way belittling, they just make it look like, okay, they just have energy, they don't have experience, what do they know, and all of that. So now, as one who is a capacity builder, a man of capacity, so I want you to speak directly to that, would I call it a cliche, that is, what have you seen the Nigerian youth, what have you seen them do that makes you believe that when giving them a chance, when giving them the opportunity, they will really deliver?
Yeah, for me, there is no time that the youth has never ever been included in the history of politics. For example, take us back to the 60s, 70s. You realize that the likes of Obasanjo, Babangida, they were also youths when they came in. But right now, talking about the cliche, all these people we call the octogenarian we feel that they are still in charge, most of them. But looking at what is happening in Kwara State here, that the governor is giving younger people chance to lead. And This is where we have to have the dialogue. Okay, fine. They are giving the younger people chances, but we need to remove the shaft from the rice because it is very, very important. Like any youth that we feel that he or she is not representing us very well, we need to have the dialogue. You understand? That's where there's no time throughout the history of Nigeria. An older person was definitely a youth before. You understand? And every generation we always have youth representative. I don't want to be mentioning names. That's why I just started like that. So Nigeria is a complex country that I feel that every steps that is being taken or every generation that has ever ruled Nigeria, every youth are given opportunity. So it depends on how you. And lastly, I must put this out that we feel that okay, power should just be given to us just like that without doing any meaningful thing to the. For example, today I might be aspiring. I'm not going there. I think you're still coming back there. I might be aspiring today. It doesn't start from today. If you check my track record, you check my background, you would see that no, I'm fully grounded where I come from. That is leadership. That is seriousness. That is a service. You understand?
I get your point. So now I can safely deduce from your statement that power is not given, power is taken, meaning that anyone who desires to lead must prepare for responsibility.
Yeah, because it's actually affecting us. The people that get it on the platter of gold are the ones that are not representing the youth properly today.
But to be very fair, the Nigerian youth, as it concerns today's politics, they have that fair chance of representation, of leadership.
Of course.
Problem has just always been, according to you, the problem has just always been, lack of ideology, lack of strategy, and lack of capacity.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's also speak to politics in general. From my own observation, it seems to me that politics in Nigeria is fast becoming a profession. What do I mean? Everybody fights to stay in power. After exhausting a particular office, you contest for another office. After that office, you're still looking for another appointment. After that appointment. And then it feels like when they ask you, what are you doing? Just say you're a politician. So what's your take on politics being a profession? Do you think politics is a profession, or do you separate profession from politics?
Yeah, I think my stand about that is, there's a very strong vector, the Viper line. It was, you deduce sense from some music sometimes. You say, Yoruba have a saying, any dale lombalelo. Ambode is living with vision-scape. Well, it's balelo. You understand? Although he wasn't talking about Ambode as a person, but
Yes.
the line, any dale lombalelo. The Ile Yoruba was talking there wasn't land. They wasn't talking about. They was talking about agreements. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if I have an agreement with you and you betray me, posterity will judge you. You understand? So the same thing, going back to what you I've just said, like, if you are a person and you believe in what you're doing, why don't you go ahead and do it?
So you are still standing on the fact that politics is not meant to be taken as a career. It is not a career.
Yeah.
But an act of service. But you see, if I call it a business, I will not be wrong. Perhaps the way it is being practiced in Nigeria today, and you know what I mean. We both know what I mean.
Yeah. I deliberately stop. If you read my body language, I deliberately stop on that topic because we are going to be knocking on doors that we are not supposed to be knocking. And although I'm a very factual person, I put it to you exactly how it is. But I don't want to eat up politics with any form of this thing. Like, another generation is coming, and what are they going to be learning from us? The truth about politics is, like I said, if you treat it as a business, if you're a leader, everyone will suffer. Everyone around you will suffer.
So we are not talking about what it is. We are talking about what it should be.
Okay.
Now I'm trying to get to your point now. So we are not seeing politics as what it is now, but as what it should be properly.
Yeah.
So at no point should politics become transactional, but rather become ideological. I get your point. So let's come back to your person and your legacy as a youth builder, as a community developer. Can you take us through your trajectory at the grassroots level, some of your activities, engagements, achievements at the grassroots level, especially here in the Ilorin Kwara State?
Yeah, I think for the past a decade, we have made a very strong impact, most especially where I come from. Starting from every year, youth and women empowerment. We make sure that we organize that every year. And secondly,
sorry to cut in, under the umbrella of Gadaff.
No, in my own political structure.
Oh, okay.
You know, I have coordinators, I have team, I have all these people, and you know, they reach out to the old ones in the community, the less privileged, and all this things. Even youths that need little push to start up something, to start up a business, and you know, we have been able to achieve that, and it is effective. That is one. And secondly, as an educator, I focus on building our younger people through education. You know, Professor Patu told me, said, education is the fundamental remedy. And so every summer lesson, I speak to the children, I engage them directly, and I see that their English spoken is horrible. Some don't even understand what you're saying. And at this stage,
at this age and time,
so we have to organize a summer lesson for them because that's the only way. I cannot intervene or influence the curriculum of what the government has designed. But you know, I don't know what is wrong about that, and I'm not trying to go there, but with my own method, I feel we should organize summer lesson at every holiday, the long-term holiday. So we do that and we select the best students, we give them scholarship, we pay their school fees, secondly. Wow. So, and thirdly, I took advantage of where I come from, which is as a local government, and we have a very large or big land mass, good for farming. So we are into farming, me and my team. If we farm, then I think that is where I have to come in with the foundation. The DG of the foundation, Ambassador Mariam, she called me and she said, okay, why don't you take advantage of the harvest of the this thing we had then, and she said we could subsidize this thing for the people, for the less privileged. And this is when the price of the fuel was hiking.
There was inflation.
And we were having recession in the country. So I thought about the idea. I said, okay, no problem. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm a public person in Asaloka. I'm always out there. And we ended up subsidizing it as low as they are just paying for transport to come and pick up the food, the aged women. You understand? Because women are the people that take care of the house. So we have to focus on that and make sure that they get something to go on and feed their family during the hardship in Nigeria. You know, we are all faced with it. And that is my only two way of making sure that life is relieved for the people. So too numerous to count.
Wow.
So we have repaired about 9 bowls in our local government where water is really major problem there.
Problems.
And you know, they reach out to us and we repair their bowl for them. 9 different communities which I feel I don't want to take our time. I have all the villages off and I can mention them to you. And what else? I think we have made
wow, truly you've made a great impact, especially at the community level. And then I must say big kudos to you. You made mention that you're from the Asa local government. So let's go. We've moved from the national level to the state level. So let's get right to the local government level, the grassroots level. How will you describe the political ecosystem there as it concerns the youth, and what do you intend, or what have you been doing not just what you intend to do. You've spoken about your community initiatives, your welfare initiatives, and it's on point. But now we don't want to build a dependent generation waiting for what to be done rather than what they too they ought to do. And this is where I'm very key on capacity and capacity building that you started with earlier on. What is it that you've been doing with the youth? You've spoken to the less privileged, the vulnerable in the community, but now the youth, when we talk of the active generation or the active population in Nigeria today, we're talking about the youth. So what are you doing with them? What do you intend to do with them as it touches capacity building, politics, and leadership?
Okay, I think that's the two questions. You talk about ASA politics, and now you're talking about the youth, our relationship with them. And I think first, ASA politics is very simple. If you take it simple, and ASA people as a whole, they are very appreciative. If you do anything for us, for the next couple of years, they continue to appreciate you. That is ASA people. But now the politics, the ASA politician, it has a code. Yeah, you need a consistency. They won't accept you if they don't see that seriousness and consistency in you. And secondly, they have to trust you before they accept you.
Trust is key.
So the elders, the youths, the women in ASA politics, they needed that trust. It might take a long time. I'm a living experience. Me being accepted at all level of political space today. Although I've had what is it called, a rough time coming up. I had this gangster mentality, and I took it to hip hop. Took it to what is it called? To politics. And you learn while you're doing that. Okay, this is wrong, this is right. But at the end of the day, as a young person, you learn, you unlearn, and you relearn. So that is the basis of us having this powerful experience relating it to the youths. We have a great relationship with almost all the youths from ASA local government, starting from all the Owode Onire side, the Alapa, the Sosoki Yowere, and everywhere coming down to my own constituency, Afon constituency, down to Ladba, Ilaoja, Buduegba, Ogele, and every youth. We have coordinators everywhere that give us brief about what is happening throughout the whole local government. So I think we are in line, and I came out of the experience on scratch.
Wow. So as one with a political ideology, I don't want to use aspiration now, because whether you are holding a position or not, you are actively involved in leadership. As long as you are given to your society, you are actually involved in your society. What is it that makes you stand out for the people of your constituency? What makes Sulaiman Lekan Gadaff? What makes him stand out? What makes him unavoidable?
Yeah, I think
speaking to your
I
plans and intentions.
I think first of all, my service delivery is different. I came in with my own style, what I believe in. And even if I walk into any room, people are like, that's Gadaff. Even if I say anything, people can relate, that's him, definitely. And over the years, I've been able to build trust, in my axis. So I don't think there's a problem about that. And, we have been able to consolidate all our job. And they see that whatever I say this year is definitely what they are going to meet from my hand next year. So that consistency and there was never ever any sharp detachment between me and the people. I'm always consistent, and I keep showing up all the time. Like, let me give you a typical example. The reason why I said Asa is a very unique place, but you have to just be careful. If they are doing any festive, or they are doing any naming ceremony or wedding or whatever, just show up or support. You are a leader automatically. For example, any meaningful festival they are doing, we have a major festival in Asa local government, which is Afon fish farm, fish festival. Shout out to my boy, Balogun. I think he's one of the major convener. Young guys. So they bring thousands of fishermen. Everybody are practically, even if you are from Afon town, you must know how to swim. This is part of the uniqueness in us. And you must know fishing, you must know farming. Then if you are from that axis, and then I am also one of the major sponsors of that program because I know the importance of our tradition and culture. And you need to be able to relate. That is the value we have in our local government. And I recognize our value.
That's awesome. A very deep nexus between you and your community.
Yeah.
But as we prepare to round up, I want you to also speak to your core ideologies as a person, as a leader, as a visionary. Who knows? The platform may be so, open to be anything, and then we just want to know that this is one we've seen with the vision and the credibility, and this person is worthy of our support. We want to be able to go all out for you, because I'm aware you have an ambition to represent your constituency at the State House of Assembly. But beyond that, even anywhere you find yourself as a leader, up to, of course, you even have an international record as the ECOWAS regional ambassador. So what defines your core ideology as a person, as a leader? When we see you on the scene, what are we seeing?
Yeah. I think first, value.
Value.
Yeah. And my consciousness in politics is always top notch. And secondly, I always tell every young people that it's not even all about me right now. It's all about us. And when I'm using the word us, I'm talking about youth. Being truthful to yourself and being real to the people is very, very important. So that is me, and I'll always be me all the time. I won't change, and I won't back. Let me brag a little bit. If when it comes to politics, you want to phase us, or you want to come, you have to be careful. You understand? Not because of anything, it's because of the good job that we have done. And that speak, we are the streets, we are the voice of the people. You understand? And I'm with the people are with me. So that is the value I'm talking about. If you think you can just manipulate the people or manipulate the process, or just focus on, or maybe only politicking and leaving the real job, the underground job, about caring about people's life. No, people know what they are doing. So you have to care, you have to be passionate. A true leader have to be passionate. You don't leave people suffering and come back when you like and you think you can cajole them. It doesn't work. And most especially this generation, we go show you. So that's it.
It's a Sorosuke generation.
It's a coconut generation. Most especially, I used to tell my team, people see us as a very stubborn set of people. No, we are not stubborn. And we are very reasonable, very respectful individuals, and I used to tell my people, most especially people that believe in me, and sometimes when I tell them, don't fight, don't bully anybody, they think we are bluffing. I know what they are capable of doing because I know them very, very well. And I know how much they are interested in making sure that we change the face of this, what is happening at this moment. But if we don't have the power, we have to be very, very careful moving.
Okay. Thank you very much. Lastly, I would want you to speak to two things. I would want you to speak to people like you who are opportuned to be in the corridors of power, youths who are holding offices, who are in leadership, who have that privilege. I want you to speak to them what the expectation of everybody is. I mean, they are representing us. Their behavior or their misbehavior will go a long way to advocate publicly. We can't generalize, but when I see one, I'm able to predict or assume what others will do. That's the first one. Then secondly, I want you to also speak to youths who are also nursing the ambition, who have that leadership potential, but they are looking at the political ecosystem and they are like, is this for me? Let me just, to even get PVC with those people is very difficult because they just believe that nothing concern them with leadership or politics. She gets a hair. So I want you to speak to those.
Me myself, I grew up thinking or saying that politics is a dangerous game, it's a bloody game, don't go near it and all these things. But if you continue to leave the policy of the country to mediocre, the country will continue to move backward. If you feel you have something to offer the country or the states or your constituency, come forward. You understand what I'm saying? Anybody can contest for whatever you feel you can do, but don't deceive yourself. Stay within what you are capable of doing. Somebody that cannot deliver his local government is looking to become a president of Nigeria or to become a governor. That is unrealistic. You understand what I'm saying? You know that the resources you have cannot contest for senator. You are going for that. You want to go for governor. But there's nothing bad in having ambition, but stay within your limits and define your team, which is very, very important. And the first one you said about
those in leadership, especially young people.
Yeah, you see, I used to say it all the time that having a position will only bring out the real you. For example, somebody who is not responsible, if you make him or her commissioner or you make him whatever, you start seeing that such person will stop picking people's call, ignore their message, not attending to their destiny, and it fall back on your principal, not even you, because naturally the people know you already that you are irresponsible. But instead of you to use that post, or instead of you to use that appointment to help the people that help you there, you are even marring their process. And it will not only affect the party, it will affect the government, it will affect the structure as a whole. So we have seen so many young people that are doing well, that we know them before they attain such level of greatness, and they are still who they are. And a typical example of somebody like that is my very good brother, Dr. Lawa Olongbebe. We used to have a beautiful conversation, and I used to see him, I used to watch him from 2 planets away. Not necessarily I go to his office. You understand? I see what he's doing. You understand? So he used to make reference to me as well as look at what Gadaff is doing over there. These are the kind of people we need. Not people that they will just put them in the office and bring their shoulder up and feel they are more bigger than everybody. No, it's not like that. Even going by religious aspects or whatever, Islam, Christianity doesn't teach us to be proud. So that's why I said putting you in a particular post or attaining some highest level of success will only reveal the real
kind of person you are.
Yeah, so there's no
character cannot be hidden. Once the spotlight is on you, everything is revealed. God bless you. So wow, thank you so very much for your thoughts and your time. That's it, dear young person. Get out there, get your permanent voters card. Also, get involved, join a political party. Don't sit at home passive. Do something, say something. And that's how far we'll be able to take it on today's episode of Behind the Reality podcast, live on UrbanPop Radio. A huge thanks to my guest, Honorable Sulaiman Lekan Gadaff, a youth builder and a community developer, and a political aspirant as well. We wish you the best in your political sojourn. And a big thanks to my producer and everybody behind the scene. I will see you another time. Have a lovely day.